What is the most dangerous question a Dubai property investor can ask? It is not where is the next hot area. It is which property type has the highest rental yield. Yes, that question asked in isolation has lost people more money than any other. I'll never forget a client, let's call him Mark, who came to me a few years ago. He had about 1 million dirhams and he was absolutely convinced he needed to buy two small studios in a community he had read about in a blog. Now, he was chasing that magic 9% gross yield figure. So we sat down not for 1 hour, but almost 3 hours. We didn't just talk about yield, we talked about his life, his goals, and even his tolerance for headaches in real estate. Now, by the end of it, he walked away with a single one bedroom apartment in a completely different area. Now, Mark called me after a year and he said it was his best financial decision that he has ever made. His tenant was a professional who treated the place like their own. The value had already climbed steadily and his stress level was zero. Now, guys, that is the power of getting this choice right. The decision between a studio, a one bed, or a two bed is not just a small detail. It is the absolute foundation of your investment. It can be the difference between a high maintenance, low profit headache and a wealth building asset that works for you while you sleep. Over 10 years, the right choice could mean hundreds of thousands of dirhams in extra profit. My name is Ritu Kant Ojha, and for the next 30 to 40 minutes, we are going deep. This is not a theoretical lecture, this is a real story using real numbers and real strategies from right here in Dubai. And I have to say, a huge amount of passion, research, and late nights go into creating a detailed guide like this one. Me and my production team here are fueled by your support. Your likes, your comments, your subscribers, keep them going. They genuinely make a huge difference and push us to keep digging deeper. So if you find any value here today, please take 1 second to hit those buttons for us. It truly means the world. Now let's dive into it. Now, before we even think about a property, we need to think about you. Every single successful investor I know has a crystal clear understanding of their own financial DNA. So this DNA is made up of three parts. First, your capital, and I mean your real budget. It's not just the property price. For any deal in Dubai, you need to immediately add about 7 to 8% on top of the cost. Let's say you're buying a 1 million dirham apartment. You've got the 4% Dubai land department fee, that's 40,000 dirhams. You have the agent's 2% fee, that's 20,000. You have the DLD admin fee, another 4,200 dirhams. You have the trustee registration fee, that's another 4,200. And then you have the developer's no objection certificate, the NOC, which can be another 1,000 to 5,000 dirhams. So, right there, your 1 million dirham property costs you nearly 1,070,000 dirhams just to get the keys. Now, while we are looking at investing, we have to be real about the total cost from day one. Now, second, your own goal. What is the actual point of this investment for you right now? And I often ask this as a first question when I meet investors. Are you trying to generate a monthly income stream to supplement your salary? Because that is a pure cash flow strategy. Or are you planning the long game? So, are you trying to buy an asset that you can sell in 10 years for a massive profit to pay for your kids' university or to fund your retirement? That is an appreciation strategy. Chasing both at the same time is possible, but usually one has to lead. You need to know which one is your priority. And third, your management style. Be honest with yourself. Are you a hands-on person who likes to be in control, or are you a set it and forget it investor who wants zero phone calls and zero headaches? Your answer to that question will dramatically change what kind of property and, just as importantly, what kind of tenant is right for you. Keep that DNA, capital, goal, and style in your mind. Now, let's go on a journey and meet three different types of investors. Let us start with the workhorse of the Dubai rental market, the studio apartment. The studio tenant in 2025 is not just a cabin crew anymore. It's the freelance coder, the marketing consultant on a 6-month project, the young entrepreneur bootstrapping their startup. They are hyper focused on two things: a great location and an amazing building amenities. They are buying a lifestyle, not square footage. To really understand this, let me tell you about a client of mine. Let's call him Alex. Now, Alex is a 28-year-old software engineer. He's sharp, he's ambitious, and he's a pure numbers guy. He moved to Dubai last year and had saved up about 800,000 dirhams. His goal, when he came to me, was crystal clear. He said, I want the highest possible monthly income from my capital. I want a cash flow machine. So our journey began. We did not look at Marina. We did not look at downtown. For maximum yield, you have to go where the growth is, where the new communities are just hitting their stride. So we started our search in Jumeirah Village Circle or JVC. It's a great area for yield, but after looking at 10 different buildings, we noticed a trend. A lot of the layouts were a bit awkward and the quality could be a hit or miss, and they were very new developers, which Alex was not very comfortable with. So we pivoted. We started looking intensely at Arjan right next door, and what we found there as of mid 2025 was amazing. The new buildings by developers like Vincitor and Danube were offering incredible quality and smart layouts for a similar price point. We found him a brand new high floor studio in a project that had just handed over. It had a very nice luxury pool, a gym, a paddle tennis court, all the things that made a tenant choose one building over another. Okay, now let's get out the calculator and break down the real numbers, because that is the objective of today's podcast. The purchase price was 680,000 dirhams. His total cost after all the fees we talked about came to about 725,000 dirhams. In the current market, we predicted the annual rent at 58,000 dirhams. So let's do the first calculation. 58,000 divided by the 680,000 purchase price. That gives you a gross yield of an impressive 8.5%. Now, this is the number most people see and they get excited. But gross yield is a vanity matrix. We care about net yield, and that is sanity. So let's subtract the costs. The annual service charges for the building were about 15 dirhams per square feet. On his 420 square feet unit, that is 6,300 dirhams a year. So the net rent is 58,000 minus 6,300, which is 51,700 dirhams. Now we calculate the real returns. 51,700 divided by his total cash outlay of 725,000, that's a net yield of 7.1%. Now, guys, that number is real. That is cash in his bank account. It is a fantastic return, one of the best you can get in the city. Alex's investment is officially a cash flow machine. But now let's talk about the other side of Alex's story, the risk. His tenant, a young professional, is on a 1-year contract. In their first conversation, she mentioned she will probably look for a 1-bedroom when her next promotion comes through. Now, Alex knows this. He's fully prepared for a higher tenant turnover. Alex has factored in a potential 1-month vacancy period every 18 to 24 months plus the agent fees to find a new tenant. Now, Alex is consciously accepting the higher management churn because his number one goal was that top tier yield. So, the studio is for the investor like Alex. The goal is maximum cash flow. The risk is higher turnover and sensitivity to oversupply. If you choose this path, you have to buy in a building with unique amenities that give you a competitive edge. Now let's evolve and move to the next point. Let us talk about one bedroom apartment. This is without a doubt the sweet spot of the Dubai property market. It is the most liquid, most in demand asset for both rentals and sales. You may ask why? Because it appeals to the widest possible audience. You capture the ambitious singles upgrading from a studio. You capture the young couples moving in together, and you capture the huge new wave of global professionals who demand a dedicated home office space. Let's meet our second investor profile, Sarah and Omar. Now, they are a newly married couple, both in their early 30s. He's a consultant, she's a marketing manager. Now, they were renting a studio in the marina, and in their words, they felt the walls closing in. They had a combined budget of around 1.3 million dirhams, and their goal was totally different from Alexis. They wanted a balanced investment. They wanted a solid home they could live in for a few years, one that would also have a strong, stable capital appreciation when they were ready to sell. Their journey was fascinating. They started by looking for one beds in the marina because that's what they knew. But for their budget, they found the apartments were often older, on low floors, or in buildings with very old amenities. So we broadened the search. I asked them, what is the most important, being next to the beach or being in a green, family-oriented new community area? That question led us to Dubai Hills Estate. Not the multi-million dirham villas, but the apartment communities like Park Heights and Collective Y. Because in Dubai Hills, you get the premium Emaar community feel, the incredible park, the beautiful mall, all without the price tag of downtown. Now, it's where the smart money for a lot of young professionals in the world and families is heading right now. Now, this couple found a beautiful one-bedroom apartment with a clear view of the park. Here's how their financial story breaks down. The purchase price was 1.25 million dirhams. Their total cost with all the fee came to about 1,335,000 dirhams. The market rent for that unit, if they were to lease it, is about somewhere around 95,000 to 100,000 dirhams. So the gross yield is 7.6%. Notice it is a full percentage point lower than Alexis Studio. But let's look at the net. The annual service charges were about 17 dirhams per square feet on their 750 square feet unit. That is 12,750 dirhams per year. So, their net rent would be 95,000 minus 12,750, which is 82,250 dirhams, giving them a net yield of 6.1%. So, why is this such a great move for them? Because their goal was not just yield, it was stability and growth. When they decided to sell, the pool of potential buyers for a one bedroom in Dubai Hills is enormous and affluent. Tenant quality is high, and those tenants tend to stay for 2, 3, maybe 4 years. The liquidity of this asset is off the charts. And the appreciation potential is where the one bedroom really shines. Let's do a simple projection. A 20% rise in the market on that 1.25 million dirham property is a 250,000 dirham gain. For Alexis Studio, that same 20% rise is only 136,000 dirham gain. The absolute numbers are just bigger. The one bedroom is for the investor who wants that perfect balance, good cash flow with a firm eye on long-term stable growth. It is a safe, smart, liquid choice. Now, finally we move to the two-bedroom apartment. And this is a completely different conversation. We are not just talking about units anymore. We are talking about homes. We are talking about stability, community, and long-term wealth creation. Just understand, your tenant here in this two-bedroom is a family. Their decision is not based on the trendiest new restaurant nearby. It is based on the quality of the local school and the size of the community park. Now let's meet our third profile, the Kapoors. They are a family with a 5-year-old son. They were renting in JLT Jumeirah Lake Towers and found that the frequent rent increases were becoming really uncomfortable. Plus, most of the towers in JLT are now almost 18 to 20 years old and they wanted something newer with a stronger community feel. Now, their budget was up to 2 million dirhams and their goal was simple: buy a home in a family first community that would grow in value over the next decade. Rental yield was a secondary concern for this family. Their search was all about lifestyle. We explored several options, but they kept coming back to town square. Why? Because for their budget, the amount of space, the quality of the amenities, the huge parks, the cinemas, the family friendly restaurants, it was just unmatched. They got so much more for their money than they would have in older, more central areas. They bought a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment overlooking the main park. Let's put their investment under the microscope one last time. The purchase price was 1.8 million dirhams. Their total cost with fees came to about 1.92 million. The market rent is 120,000 dirhams per year. So the gross yield is 6.7%. As we would expect, it is the lowest so far. Now, let's get to the net yield. The annual service charges were about 14 dirhams per square feet on their 1200 square feet unit. That's 16,800 dirhams a year. So, the net rent is 120,000 minus 16,800, which is almost 103,000 dirhams. So, this means the final net yield is 5.4%. Now, a pure cash flow investor like Alex might look at a 5.4% net yield and turn away. But the Kapoors are playing a completely different game. Their return is not just the rent, it is the stability. If they ever decide to rent it out, their tenant will likely be another family who stays for 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. That means virtually zero vacancy. It is a true set it and forget it asset from a management perspective. And the appreciation is where they really win. That 1.8 million dirham asset only needs to appreciate by 11% to make the same 200,000 dirhams gain. That would require a 25% appreciation on Alex's studio. They are building long-term, life-changing wealth, not just monthly income. They are planting a financial oak tree, not just harvesting a cash crop. This brings us to our final and most important section, the ultimate strategic showdown. Let's imagine you have a budget of about 1.9 million dirhams. You have 3 clear choices represented by our 3 investors. Let's put them all on one stage. First up, you have Team Kapoor. The oak tree strategy: with your 1.9 million, you buy one 2-bedroom apartment. Your net rental income is about 103,000 dirhams a year. Your management is simple: one tenant, one contract, one set of service charges. It's clean, low stress, and simple. The risk: it's a single point of failure. If that tenant leaves and it takes you 2 months to find another one, your income drops to zero. Your entire investment is tied to the fate of one property in one community. Next, you have the Team Alex, the cash flow machine strategy. With your 1.9 million, you would not buy one big property, you would buy 3 studios just like Alex's. Your total net rental income is 3 times 51,700, which is about 155,000 dirhams a year. That is 50% more cash flowing into your bank account from the exact same amount of initial capital. The power is diversification. If one studio is vacant, you don't panic. You are still earning over 100,000 a year from the other 2. Your income stream is incredibly resilient. You also have flexibility. You can sell one studio if you need to raise some cash without having to sell your entire portfolio. The risk: it's triple the work. 3 tenants, 3 contracts, 3 potential calls about leaky tap, it's a part-time job, or you're paying a property manager which will eat into that fantastic margin of yours. So where do Sarah and Omar fit in? They represent the third path, the balanced portfolio. If they had a 1.9 million budget, they wouldn't go for the two extremes. They might buy a very large premium one bedroom plus study in a prime area like Dubai Hills, or they might choose to buy one bedroom apartment and one studio. This gives them a blend of the other two strategies. They get better cash flow and diversification than the single two bed. And they get better stability, tenant quality, and capital growth potential than the three studios. It is the powerful middle ground. So, after all of this, it comes back to you. The market in Dubai in 2025 is full of opportunities, but opportunity without a clear strategy is just a very expensive form of gambling. You have to look at your capital, you have to define your goal, you have to be honest about your management style before you responding to WhatsApp messages from different brokers and get excited about every property that comes your way. Are you Alex, ready to build a high performance cash flow machine with multiple studios? Are you the Kapoors, patiently planting a financial oak tree with a large, stable 2 bedroom home? Or are you Sarah and Omar, looking for that powerful, balanced portfolio with a rock solid 1 bedroom at its core? The only right answer is the one that perfectly aligns with your financial DNA. I truly hope this detailed guide has given you the clarity and the confidence you need to take the next step on your own Dubai property journey. If it has, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It would be incredible. And I want to hear from you. Please drop a comment below. What's your strategy? Are you a team Alex, team Kapoor, or team Sarah and Omar? I read all your comments and respond to each of them. Thank you for your time. Now please go and invest smart. Thank you.